Namaste and welcome to Detours with me, Anuradha Goyal, where I talk to some very interesting personalities about journeys of all kinds. Namaste and welcome to Detours in yet another episode. And today's episode is very special. We are going to talk about a Parikrama, a Hariparvat Parikrama, which happens in Kashmir around the city of Srinagar, the capital of Kashmir. And not many people know about it. I came to know of it when I was working on my book Navratri. And that's when Dr. Subhash Kak mentioned Hariparvat Parikrama in Navratri description of Kashmir. So I've been wanting to do this parikrama, but that moment has not yet come. So I requested Rashneek ji, who is a Kashmiri, and his father, Avatar Krishna ji. They have lived in Kashmir. They've done this parikrama in their childhood, and of course now they live outside Kashmir. So it's a nostalgic memory for them, this parikrama. So namaste, sir, and namaste, Rashneek ji. Welcome to Detours. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this podcast. So, sabse pehle, first of all, tell us what is Hariparvat?
The legend of Kashmir starts with it being a lake. The place was called Satisar. Sati, obviously, we are all acquainted with. Sati is the Shakti of Shiva, or the essential power or the kinetic energy of this entire universe. And the place was a lake. The entire, if you see the valley today also, there are many lakes and many water bodies. And if you are in Kashmir, anywhere in Kashmir, you are always close to a water source. Whether it's a lake, it's a pond, it's a river, it's a rivulet, it's a brook, you'll never be far from water in Kashmir, never. So because it's all fed on all these sides through these glaciers, so the place was a lake. And Satisar, when the learned ones or the gurus or the Brahmins went to live there was this one, they wanted to drain. They wanted, because they needed to live there, so they had to drain the lake, at least in some places. So there's a place near Udi where Balbhadra, the elder brother of Krishna, to basically drain, he just hit the land with plow, and water started flowing out of this valley. And when water, even today, if you go to this place, you will see the current is very fast there compared to the current of water in Vitasta, which is now called Jhelum. Now, as this was happening, and this is called Rishwar also. Kashmir is called Rishwar, which means the garden of the saints. And this has remained in tradition even when Muslims ruled Kashmir from 1334, 1335. Till this date, they sometimes refer to this as Rishwar. And so let's go back to where we started. So there were many ponds still where people would close by to the water sources, and they wanted to do their prayers. And there was this particular demon called Jal Udbhava who would rise from the water, would basically disturb the prayers of the Brahmins or the Rishi Gurus, and also desecrate these shrines, desecrate their places of worship, or desecrate their processes of worship. So saints decided to approach Vishnu Bhagwan, because there is a connection between Kashmir's first king Gunand and Krishna Bhagwan. So they went to Vishnu and said, Lord, we have a problem. So, okay, what's the problem? So there's a demon consistently comes and desecrates whatever we are doing, and there's a consistent let's say problem to us. So he requested Lakshmi, the Shri. That is where the Srinagar comes from. We'll come to that in a little while. So it's a very, very important question to ask. What is Hariparvat to begin with? So he instructed Lakshmi, or he requested Lakshmi, obviously, and said that, is it possible for you to take care of this demon? So Lakshmi took the form of Sarika, or Maina, and in her beak, she carried a small pebble, onto Jaludbhava. And Jaludbhava got, let's say, he immersed. Her is the Kashmiri word for Sarikaha. So Sarika becomes Hari, Hari becomes Hariparvat. Okay. And the goddess manifests Uh, it's a very philosophical construct. I don't know how much of it uh, I should be saying, because I really am not an authority on spiritual or religious matters. But it is also believed that the stone, the mountain or the hill itself, the hillock itself, is representation, has many Sri Yantras or Sri Chakras. The main stone, which is even worshipped today, has the Sri Yantra inscribed on it. And
Naturally,
then, yes, naturally.
they're
And
not engraved by man.
no man has ever engraved the Sri Yantra on this. There's a place called Chakrishwari. She
Hmm.
is considered the goddess of the chakras, the seven chakras. Obviously, this is what one has to ascend. There is philosophical connotation, religious, spiritual, and obviously then there is folklore, myth, and there are beliefs attached to this. So that is the word Hari Parvat comes from.
Hmm.
And then there is obviously this Usha and Aniruddha connection, but I'll not go there. And the Pradyumna, because we often in our prayers use this as Pradyumna Peeth also, as the seat of
Tell
Pradyumna.
us about it. I mean, it's interesting. Not
There
many
is this
people know about this.
Yeah, so we say there is this one prayer in which we say Pradyumna Pithe Shikra Sthita Kashmir Pravaresh Madhya Nagari Pradyumna Pithe Sthita Devi Saptak Sanyuta Bhagavati Shri Sharika Patpada. This is where the peeth of Pradyumna was. This is where Pradyumna possibly worshipped the mother goddess, and she manifested herself in the form of Lakshmi, who is Sharika.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there are these two, but most believe people like us who lived in Srinagar in the vicinity of this place have this profound belief that she is the first goddess, because the day when Jalud Baba was exterminated, so to say,
Hmm.
even if it's a philosophical construct, the next day Navreg is celebrated, which is the first day of the Hindu calendar in Kashmir.
Which is Chaitra Pratipada.
That's correct.
So, tell us more about Sharika Devi. Who is she? Like you told us that she came to Kashmir and she continues to live in Kashmir in the form of Sri Chakra. And if my reading is correct, then the Hariparvat itself is believed to be a three-dimensional Sri Chakra.
That's correct. So Sharika, I have told you lexicon or epistemologically, I've kind of given you a brief introduction. Now, she is Sri Vidya.
Mm.
She is Sri Vidya, and she manifests though as Sharika, but
Mhm.
we believe that she is also called Jagatamba, as many other goddesses are called, and she is the seat of uh, spiritual disciplines, all spiritual disciplines that includes essentially Tantra, because we are a land of Shakta and we were a land of Shakta. So she is the manifestation of the supreme mother goddess in the form of this particular hillock or hill. But at the same time, if you go to our religious sources or our spiritual sources, then she manifests as the seed of knowledge, as seed and syllable. Did I say this?
Varanakshar.
As akshara, yes, as both, as akshar, as varn, as well as let's say the consonants and the vowel. And in that form, she is the Vagdevi. In other forms, she is Durga. For us, I mean, she manifests. There is one particular shloka among from Panchastavi in Lagu Sattva, which we all Kashmiris to date render, which goes something like this. Maya Kundalini Kriya Madhumati Kali Kala Malini Matangi Vijaya Jaya Bhagavati Devi Shiva Shambhavi Shakti Shankar Vallabhatranayana Vakvadani Bhairavi Himkari Tupra Para Parmai Mata Kumari say. So all these 27 goddesses, it is she only. In all other
Fantastic.
manifestations, we don't see anyone but her. There are, I mean, hundreds of leelas, or what in India is called bhajan, in
Swarups.
the rest of them. This
Swarups.
is this is only devoted to her, and people when they sing, they cry. And I have seen this myself. Sometimes in trance or sometimes in rapture. We also, but there is no house where you will not find a picture of her. Even when my sisters went to abroad, I brought them small lockets with her picture. When my daughter went to college, I brought her a small locket with a picture of her. So in a way, she manifests in mundane and divine, in word and action, in kinetic as well as potential energy. So So for us, she is the mother. I mean,
So now let's come to Hariparvat Parikrama. Tell us about this parikrama. How long is this? Where do you start? Where do you end? What do you see on the way?
Srinagar city is actually divided in two parts, and this Hariparvata has two main gates. Main gates, very big. Where from an easy elephant can move, or two or three elephants can at a time move, and then there are other small gates.
Mhm.
The two gates are, one is Kathi Darwaza.
Mhm.
Kathi Darwaza is from where the people, those worshippers who come to Hariparvat, come from uptown and downtown Srinagar,
Okay.
from Amira Kadal down to Chatabal, where Kashmiri Pandits used to come from. And the other part is Sangin Darwaza, which is on the Chatti Pachai side. You have ever been to Hariparvat?
No, not yet, sir.
No. It is Rainavari. It is Rainavari side, Chatti Pachai, Sikh Guru's seat. Sixth Guru seat.
yes.
Seat. That is the Rainavari side. It was also very congested Hindu family area. They used to come via that. Then we used to assemble. People used to come from two sides. The downtown, uptown people one side, and Ranavari worshippers from the other side. Then we would assemble at Ganesh temple,
Ganesh
which
temple.
is the start. Ganesh temple, which is the starting point. There, after performing the puja of Ganeshji, we would move ahead. Then it was Devi Angan.
Devi Angan. Huh?
Devi Angan. It was a grand. There were Dharamshala. It was all almond orchard,
Mm.
full with almond orchards with small dharamshalas in between. Then we would go through it, Angan, and we would reach Saptrishi. There was a chinar, very big chinar, and it was covered mud and stones. People would stand there. Some in those days, school going children would often do they would these pebbles, they would collect pebbles and then see if I will pass or I will fail on that. On that, at that particular, there was a particular stone on
Mhm.
what they would do. Acha. Then after making parikrama of this saptrishi, it was just around a chinar table, chinar, and then we will go to Kalika Mata Mandir, which
Mhm.
was about 500 meters upwards
Mhm.
towards the hillock,
Mhm.
towards the hillock on the eastern side.
Mhm.
That is now closed. It is.
Mhm.
It. I tried to. I contacted the. I made my best to go there again, because my father had great reverence for this Kali Mata temple there. It was in a cave.
Mhm.
It was in a cave. It was not an open temple. It was in a cave, but it has been barricaded now. Then from there onwards, people in chores would
Mhm.
sing bhajans and go on to Sharika Mata's feet.
Mhm.
Then we would ascend up to the
Mhm.
Pitha, Sharika Peeth,
Mhm.
Sharika Peeth. After in somewhere in 60, 70s, a proper steps were made. The stone steps were made. Till then, we like that on a hill, perform their puja up there. Sometimes we would also go in the main, where the main deity was, and perform their puja parikrama there. And after coming down from that Sharika, हारी उसको हारी बोलते थे, जैसे रश्निक जी ने आपको बताया कि मैना,
Mhm.
मैना या शारिका जिसको बोलते थे. तो इट वाज हिलॉक के नीचे साइड में थोड़ा सा एक ऐसा दगला था कि जैसे कोई मैना उठ के यहाँ बैठी हुई है.
Mhm.
तो वहां पर परिक्रमा करने के बाद वहां पर वी वुड टर्न टू नॉर्थ साइड. नॉर्थ में लेफ्ट साइड के एक मंदिर, शिव जी का मंदिर था. इट वाज फेसिंग डल लेक और महादेव, महादेव पीक. महादेव पीक जो था, महादेव पीक की, और ये मंदिर था रामकोल मंदिर बोलते थे उसको, किसी रामकोल ने बनाया था रामकोल मंदिर. देयर वाज शिवलिंग. इट वाज ए वेरी ब्यूटीफुल प्लेस, वेरी गुड प्लेस, वेरी स्पेशियस buildings. Then we will perform puja there. On it is बिल्कुल इसके opposite में. Then we would more like this. It was on the Dal Lake side, and on the side of this शारिका पीठ पर इस साइड में है. तो माता लक्ष्मी का एक वहां पर मंदिर था, बिल्कुल अपोजिट. जिस लेफ्ट साइड में शिव जी का ये मंदिर था और राइट साइड में माता लक्ष्मी का मंदिर था. तो वहां पर पूजा करने के बाद वी वुड गो. इट वाज फिल लेफ्ट साइड में आपको खाली ऑर्चर्ड मिलते, आलमंड ऑर्चर्ड्स मिलते थे. देयर वाज a special thing. It was known as वारिस खान शाह. वारिस खान, कोई वारिस खान रहा होगा कश्मीर में, गवर्नर था क्या था. तो he had made a very deep well where criminals or others who would not accept his orders, they were thrown there on this वारिस खान शाह. It is still there. That well is still there. Then we will proceed to the Hanuman temple on the right side, bilkul on the footsteps of the hillock. There was Hanumanji's temple. And then going, we would reach Sangin Darwaza. That was the end point. On Sangin Darwaza, the people from Ranawari would leave by that Chhati Pachahi road. And we would again turn right up to Ganeshji's temple. Again assemble there. This was the Parikrama area.
Sir, how long is this Parikrama in terms of kilometers?
It will take about 1.5 hours.
Okay.
Distance it was about 3 kilometers, maximum 3 kilometers.
And how steep is the climb?
10 मिनट 15 मिनट का होता था.
Okay.
It is
So how is
हाँ.
it steep? Can anybody do it, or only Kashmiris can do it?
नहीं नहीं हर कोई जाते थे.
हमारे in terms of physical energy, how much energy do you need?
नहीं नहीं anybody can go up. ऐसे कोई नहीं है.
It's not very difficult to do.
नहीं नहीं, not very difficult. It's not so steep. Now it has some steps, proper steps.
Okay.
Swami ji, I have seen him. तो वो from मद्रास थे वो. हम उनके ज्यादा दर्शन खीर भवानी मंदिर में, तुलामुला में खीर भवानी जी का मंदिर का आपने सुना होगा. तो वो हमने उनके वहां पर बहुत बार दर्शन किए हैं. वो कश्मीर में ही ज्यादा रहते थे आफ्टर ही took sannyasa. It is said that he was a retired judge of Madras High Court. Then he left the job and came to Kashmir. कहते हैं कि वो मतलब पलट के ये शारिका माता के इसका हरि पर्वत का परिक्रमा करते थे.
रोलिंग परिक्रमा.
रोलिंग करके परिक्रमा करते थे.
जी, मैंने कई जगह देखा है. I have seen it in Vrindavan Hariparvat Parikrama. Then I have seen it in South India also. So there are different types of parikramas. One is walking, one is Dandavat Parikrama.
हाँ, हमने दंडवत परिक्रमा का हमने देखा. एक जो ये नर्मदा नदी का, हमने we have seen him somewhere in Mesan, गुजरात एरिया में. हम एक बार जा रहे थे वहां, उनको हमने देखा था दंडवत करके. लेकिन इनका ये राघवानंद जी का कह रहे हैं ये पलट कर रहे थे. तो जिस वक्त हमने उनको देखा तब तो वो थोड़ा वृद्ध हो गए थे, लेकिन हम उनके दर्शन किए हैं.
So traditionally also in Kashmir, did you have a tradition of Dandavat Parikrama or like any other form except walking?
Generally not, because of the cold weather conditions. It has not. दंडवत वहां ही सामने ही करते थे. जहां पर भी जाते, किसी भी मंदिर में जाते थे, दंडवत प्रणाम वहां ही करते थे. तो ऐसे दंडवत करके कभी परिक्रमा किसी का सुना नहीं है.
Acha. So if I understood correctly, you begin at Ganesh Mandir and you end at Hanuman Mandir, right? And in between you have a Shiv Mandir and you have 3 Devi temples. One is Kali.
We have Saptarishi.
Saptarishi. Yes, I'm coming to
गंगे,
that.
हाँ, उसके बाद
So you
उसका बाद उसके बाद काली माता, कालिका माता का मंदिर, then मेन शारिका माता का मंदिर, then Fairy, then Amarkol, Ramkol Mandir.
No, so what I'm trying to say is that there are three Devi temples, main three Devi temples. There is a Shiv Mandir. It is associated with Anirudh, so it has a Vaishnav connection. It has a Saptarishi, so it is associated with our rishis. And you have the Ganesh and you have Hanuman. So you have literally the whole Hindu pantheon represented on the hill.
Correct.
You know,
That's right.
so and the Devi is always this is my study on Devi, that wherever there are Shakti peaks, there are always three temples of Devi in her three main avatars, which is Lakshmi, Saraswati, and Durga, or Kali, whichever way you. So that means this must have been a Tirtha Kshetra. This whole area was a Tirtha Kshetra. So that brings me to the next question. Are there any specific festivals that are celebrated at Sharika Parvat or Hariparvat? And are there any specific dates and times when this parikrama is done?
Frankly, if you ask me, anything in Kashmir starts ends with her. Though there are activities, and in today's time, for last 100 years, they is more popular in folklore. In Kher Mela, she is considered Raj Rajeshwari,
Empress,
and thing starts and ends with her somehow, with Sharika. It's a very it's very magical in its essence. Obviously, there's the first day of your. Then there is these nine days of Navaratras. Jisme, then the puja of Shivratri, which is our biggest festival. Even today, the Hura Ashtami. Again.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is in
And then the and then the pilgrimage of Amarnath. You cannot start it without going to her, because the Chadi Mubarak first goes to her.
Oh.
So holy mace is taken to this temple only.
Okay.
So ऐसे अच्छा, then Ram Navambar, then Ram Navami. There this is very strange. She is the consort of Shiva. She is also the consort of Vishnu in a way. I mean, this is for me. It's
Adi
really
Shakti. So no, that's not a problem because she's Adi Shakti. So Adi Shakti manifests both as Parvati and Lakshmi.
Yeah, this is what happens. So all these festivals were used. विस्तार से maybe
उनको जो यहाँ पर महत्वपूर्ण सुंदरी के रूप में ज्यादा महत्व है, महत्वपूर्ण सुंदरी के रूप में माना जाता है, इसलिए कि मतलब ये जो शिवाज की होली मेस है, अमरनाथ जी लेने से पहले इसको वहां पर पूजा करते हैं, रक्षा करने के लिए, उसको वहां ले जाते हैं, वहां पर इस मेस की, होली मेस की पूजा हो जाती है, तभी वो प्रोसीड करते हैं आगे टुवर्ड्स अमरनाथ के.
ओके. And
sorry.
So I also read somewhere that there is a parikrama that is done specifically during the month of Magh. Magh will be very cold.
It is every day. There is no day when the worshippers would not go there. In a Kashmiri family, every person from every home, at least out of 5 out of 10 would daily go to Hariparbat. 5 out of 10.
Sir, when people who are living close by, they can go every day, and that is true for every tirtha. People living in Kashi can go to Ganga every day, but people who come from far, they typically have certain times of the year when they come.
Okay. Now, then we are going back a little back into history. See, because like you rightly mentioned, people who lived in the vicinity in Srinagar area, they would come every day. But otherwise, in history, there are 3 days when they are very important, and these are the days of Navre, the New Year, and Ramanavami.
Hmm.
हार इज हार कुछ ऐसे
आषाढ़ आषाढ़
आषाढ़
आषाढ़
आषाढ़ की नवम को। और इसको और जो ये मैंने आपको बताया हो रहा है
Hmm.
तो जो न्यू ईयर के 3 दिनों का, अब इसमें बहुत नाउ वी विल बी गोइंग टू बैक इनटू हिस्ट्री, बट these 3 days were celebrated at the foothills only.
Okay.
सारे लोग, इवन इन माय ओन, मेरा मतलब when I was growing up, I have fond memories. People would come with their stoves and khana, रहना. There were many distilleries on this path.
Mhm.
On
Okay.
this, that is now history. That's not history. Then we will be going. But these 3 days were days of celebration as well as days of spiritual practice. So the two were enmeshed. The mundane and the divine lived almost, how should I say, in consonance with each other. And at ये 3 दिन था, then obviously हौरा अष्टमी के दिन पूरी रात की, in fact I would say all Saturdays, as I remember it, all Saturdays you practically all night would play. This was a congregation. There was a congress of people. It wasn't like मैं अकेला गया. My remember my grandfather would take me, and I was a small kid. We would bring tea from our house. We would bring this roti, which is called kulcha in Kashmiri, and then other people would bring the same. Food would be served there. This chai would continue. This kahwa would continue, and there would be singing. I mean, this was frantic. I mean, and people would get into. That
It
was
was
a
a
Saturday
utsav.
event. या
It
उत्सव,
was
बिल्कुल उत्सव ही था, उत्सव ही था। और ये जो 3 दिन का मैंने आपको नवरे का उत्सव बताया, फिर होरा अष्टमी का उत्सव और हारा अष्टमी का, हार नवम का उत्सव,
which is
ये
Ashad Navami.
हाँ
आषाढ़ नवमी
आषाढ़, हमारे यहाँ कश्मीरी में थोड़ा सा
आषाढ़ आषाढ़ शुक्ल पक्ष नवमी
नवम है।
आषाढ़
तो ये इन दिनों में, एंड देन जिस दिन जैसे के अगले दिन एवरीबडी वुड अगेन गो।
Hmm.
सुबह उठते, हालांकि शिवरात्रि की पूजा हमारे यहाँ 3-4 बजे तक चलती, फिर सुबह उठते साथ ही the first thing people would do is again go back to Parvat.
Hmm. Right.
So that is how the tradition was. अब तो खैर पर्वत नहीं है, but यहाँ फरीदाबाद में we have, by God's grace and by her own,
hills.
she lives on a hill here, and we have a hill, maybe not the, it is a peat, it cannot be where Sharika herself, but it's a peat. We have a temple here in Faridabad, not far from that, because of this.
Oh, next
And
time I come to Delhi, I will visit it.
you are most welcome. We can go and see
So
that
how
where she.
how that brings me to this thing now that most Kashmiris are out of Kashmir, not many are living in Srinagar. So what is the status? Can the parikrama still be done? Are the temples all there?
Each temple is there, okay, and the temple of Kali, like I said, not there. Saptrishi we could find, at least I tried, and Kolon Mandir it stands, and the Lakshmi temple, the Hari temple one, there's no temple per se, it is a structure. So this is all vegetation. Part of it lives, I would say, is looped, and it would manifest at some form. If art manifests, then this definitely would manifest. So वो है, और मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि मतलब again like हमारे यहाँ, in fact, okay, I wanted to tell you something. So there is Sharika herself, and then there is someone called Rupa Bhawani. I don't know if you have heard of her. Rupa Bhawani is the manifestation of Sharika in living form. Rupa Bhavani's father also, and that gives me hope. There was this king Sultan Sikandar Butshikan who drove all the Hindus away. Only 11 homes remained. वो भी भाग गए थे, फिर वो वापस आए. Then he prayed to goddess, and the goddess said, "What do you want?" Said, "I want you as my daughter." She manifested, and she is Rupa Bhavani. So we have goddess as the mother goddess, and then we have Rupa Bhavani, जिनका हम उनकी साहिबाना सतम होती है, which is her श्राद्ध, बराबर है, बर्थडे, तो उनका आज भी मनाते हैं, 2 बार मनाते हैं. एक तो शादों के टाइम पे मनाते हैं, और उनके एक्चुअल जिस टाइम होता है माघ में. तो मुझे I have this immense faith that when she again wants to show her splendor and grandeur, the manifestation will happen. But मन में हमारे है, इसका मतलब है. It फिजिकल मैनिफेस्टेशन नहीं है, उससे मुझे ऑनेस्टली मैं बहुत निराश नहीं हूँ इस बात से कि फिजिकल मैनिफेस्टेशन नहीं, बट हमारे है तो there.
So this Rupa Bhavani was the human form of manifestation.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So that person has obviously passed away a long time back.
Oh, that was like 16th century, 1635 or something.
1635. I think so, but there is no physical, memorial of that, right?
Oh, there are many memories of Rupa Bhawani. People like we are not her family, but somehow there is some connection. और हम व्रत रखते हैं उनके श्राद्ध पर और उनके बर्थडे पे हम खीर बनाते हैं, यहाँ लोग बांटते हैं उनको.
Okay. So where can somebody see that in Srinagar?
School in Srinagar. Then
Sorry,
she
you have to
herself.
repeat that.
So there is a Rupa Bhawani school in Srinagar, and then there are many places where she went and did her tapasya. Those places are intact, by God's grace. और जो जला दिया था उसको फिर से बना रहे हैं. लार करके एक जगह है, then वासुपुर है. Ever have a chance to go to Chishma Shahi, just take a detour. It's called Chishma Sahibi, where she sat. Then at Vasupur, where there was a blind man, and she told आंखें उसके आंखों पे लगाया. He started singing. And then there is this legend, and she was a great poet also. Rupa Bhavani was one of the greatest poets we have had in Kashmiri. तो वो physical manifestation है जो एसोसिएट तीर्थ है, so to say, या उनकी जो मतलब मेमोरीज है उस समय से ही चली आ रही हैं. दे आर मतलब उसमें कोई मतलब memory. So the people, if you go to Jammu, they have a very big Rupa Bhavani bhavan in Jammu, which the people from Safa Kadal, where she came from, उनके यहाँ बनाया. And her father Madhav Judhar, we have a picture of Madhav Judhar and Rupa Bhavani sitting in Rupa Bhavani learning the secret. And we say she was an Ansha of Sharika, or she manifested as in the human form. So this is also tradition, and no other goddess has this.
Yeah, I mean, there are, because in South, Andal is supposed to be the manifestation of Lakshmi.
Yes.
So if you travel around, you do find these women who have
Yeah.
manifested as this thing, but not much is known about them. Even I didn't know about Rupa Bhavani till you told me. So they also choose to reveal themselves when the time is right.
Exactly.
It's not that we didn't try to find or anything, but they just choose the right time and right people to reveal through them.
True.
So great. So what would you tell somebody who wants to go and do this parikrama? Can they do it? Should they attempt it? Is it doable?
I wouldn't discourage anyone. I would say be careful, but you can do this parikrama. Go to Ganesha temple and start. I did it maybe 5-6 years back. I took my sister along with me, with my wife, and a lot of other friends. We walked. We did this parikrama exactly as it should have been done. And अब थोड़ा सा you have to take a little detour because घर बन गए हैं, and then thankfully in some of these houses the address still is mentioned as 3 Devi Angan, 5 Devi Angan, and obviously they are Muslims now, but addresses में Devi Angan लिखते हैं. And then obviously when you go there, there is a place called Vichar Nag, which is on the other side, where one should go because you find connection to Pashupat Shiv Darshan and also to Adi Shankar, because it's considered that Adi Shankar had a discussion about certain things at this Vicharnag. Then there is a temple of Maharagina or the Kirbhani Mata at Pokhribal, which is again at the foothills of this. So they can, the rich diversity kind of, I would say, Pokhribal, Vicharnag is in bad shape, but yeah, Pokhribal is still in a decent shape. It is managed by a Sikh trustee who, not a trustee, but a caretaker who takes care of this temple. So you can do this. It's not that you cannot do this. Just be careful. Be mindful of where you are, and if Goddess wishes you to come and do this, then only I think anyone can do this. By my own will, my will has to be subsumed. Her will is the will.
That's true. That's true.
As we say in Shiv Sutra, Ichha Shakti Ruma Kumari, her will, Shakti, it's her will. So, but yeah, you can. I wouldn't discourage.
So can you do it alone, or should you recommend doing it in a group?
Better to do it in a group, but not too big a group, so that the locals are not intimidated. They do not think of us as another horde of, I don't know. I don't want to use any words, but yeah, just be careful. But 3, 4, 5 should be a decent group without making any overt noises, and you can go to
Yes, jeep.
So
Garden.
when you did it in your childhood, were there houses on the hill?
Those days there were very few houses, and those two were at the complete foothills, completely foothills. Outside these doors, outside the two big darwazas which my father mentioned, there were some sprawl, but now this is right up to tell her, सीढ़ी with the staircase वहां तक घर. पिछली बार मेरी गाड़ी फंस गई थी बर्फ में.
So you can take your car also there.
You can take it to the
foothill.
वहां पे नीचे उनका आश्रम है, स्वामी विद्याधर जी का, who was her. वहां तक गाड़ी जाएगी.
So I would close this with a hope that one day we'll all be able to do the Hariparvat Parikrama, and the Devi will make it happen. Only she can
We
make
also
it
hope so.
happen.
We also hope so.
Yes.
We also
Hopefully in my lifetime.
I want to definitely do it. I am trying to do as many parikramas in this country as possible, and this is one parikrama which is pending. Narmada Parikrama is another one pending, but that is pending because it's too long and you need to really plan it well.
Yeah.
1,000 kilometers. So
Ultimately, it is the mother's will. So if
yes,
she wants, she will do.
yes,
If she doesn't,
absolutely.
then there is little we can do.
Little we can. Great. Any memories of the parikrama that you want to share before we go?
जाते थे ग्रुप में वहीं जमा होते थे, जैसे मैंने पहले भी बताया कि मतलब गणेश जी के मंदिर से रोज होता था. इट वाज अ डेली रूटीन. विंटर समर doesn't matter.
How early morning did you go, sir?
People would start at 4 in the morning. 4 in the morning, there was a Kashmiri Pandit who used to travel about 20 kilometers daily. He used to come from outside Srinagar skirts. रामबाग से भी आगे, क्योंकि जब हम बाद में परिक्रमा करके घर पहुंच जाते थे, खाना खाते थे, ऑफिस के लिए निकलते थे, तो वो हमें रास्ते में मिल जाते थे. He would head to his home. वो तकरीबन 20 किलोमीटर चलकर आ जाते थे. I still remember that man. Oh,
So by 6 o'clock you used to be back.
yes. इसमें चलता रहता, क्योंकि लोग ऐसा टाइमिंग, ऑफिस की टाइमिंग ऐसी होती थी, 10 बजे ऑफिस पहुंचना होता था. देयर वाज नो ट्रांसपोर्ट. टॉन्ग हाउस होते थे, घोड़ा गाड़ी. तो पीपल वुड नॉट गो बाय दैट, क्योंकि उतना पैसा भी नहीं होता था, तो पैदल ही जाना पड़ता था. सो पीपल स्टार्टेड बाय 4:30. 4 परिक्रमा करके आ जाते थे. बाय 6-7 दे वुड बी इन देयर होम्स, गेट प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर देयर ड्यूटीज. This was the normal routine. We still follow that. हमें कहते हैं अभी भी कैसे इतने सवेरे जल्दी उठ जाते हो, ये तो टाइम क्लॉक बन गया होता है, उसी वक्त उठते थे. तो उसी हिसाब से चलता रहता है आज तक.
Sir, this also reminds me, today we try to have discipline of going to a gym, going for a walk. This was a perfect mix of a gym, a walk, a trek, a spirituality, meditation, dhyan, sangat, everything put together, in your routine, and you start your day on such a positive note along with your friends before you hit work. So I believe this was not just spirituality, this was a complete your lifestyle routine built in.
Exactly. The people there were too many cases of tuberculosis those days in Kashmir. So the people were those जो यात्रा करने के लिए आते थे, otherwise also, तो उनको ये जो महादेव साइड में आगे कुछ नहीं था. Only the Dal Lake, then the Mahadev Hill mountains. तो उनको वहां पर वो हिलॉक पर बिठाते थे, शारिका माता के पीठ के पिछले साइड में. दे वुड सिट देयर फॉर सम टाइम. और यही रामकोल, जो मैंने बोला रामकोल मंदिर थे, उसके परपट वाल पर उनको बिठाते थे फेसिंग ईस्ट. तो ताकि साफ खुली हवा होती थी, उनको वहां पर थोड़े टाइम के लिए बिठाया जाता था. इवन जो मेडिकेंट्स होते थे वहां पर, हकीम हुआ करते थे या कोई डॉक्टर वैद्य हुआ करता था, तो उनको कहते थे वहां पर बैठ जाओ थोड़ी देर के लिए, फ्रेश हवा ले लो. तो वो हीलिंग होती थी. और पीपल विद दिस यूरिन प्रॉब्लम्स, उनको क्या बोलते थे कि मतलब ये जो हमारी कर्ड में पानी निकलता था, वो बॉटल में ले जाते थे, फिर वहां पानी पीते थे, वहीं ही बैठते थे. तो इट वुड क्योर देम. फ्रेश हवा होती थी, एवरीथिंग वाज क्लीन, एवरीथिंग वाज फ्रेश. चलिए, सब समय का चक्र है.
One more thing, ma'am, which I would possibly, because some people may want to see more of her as art or something. There is a very great artist, one of the great modern artists. His name is G.R. Santosh, Gulam Santosh, who was one of her primary, at least in my lifetime, जिनको मैंने मतलब उनकी बहुत तपस्या की है. And all his paintings. Gulam Santosh comes from the Baroda School of Art, and he was a Kashmiri himself. उनकी पेंटिंग्स है ऑफ वेरियस मैनिफेस्टेशंस. लोग कहते हैं कि जब वो सुबह जाते थे तो संतोष नीचे आते थे. He would sit there all night, and then the goddess would reveal herself to him, and then he would paint. तो उनकी
Are
जो
these
शास्त्र
paintings available online?
Available,
Yes.
Will you
They
share
are
the
available
link with
everywhere.
me, please?
In Bangalore, if you go to the Blossoms bookshop, they have postcards of her.
Okay.
And there's a book there. In fact, he was a great poet also, but paintings obviously is one of the most well-known modern artists in India. And G.R. Santosh, because most people don't know full name, so G.R. Santosh. One can see the manifestations of the mother goddess in different forms, and this is done by G.R. Santosh. So that's my parting word for people who would want to see more visual representations rather than spiritual representations.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir, so
Pleasure,
much.
ma'am.
Your
Thank you.
inputs were so valuable. Hopefully, this conversation would lead to the revival of the Parikrama, and people will start visiting again. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us on Detours. You can also join us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Our handle is IndiTales, INDITALES. See you soon.